Have you ever bought a bunch of cilantro that was really fresh and very fragrant, but could not use it in time? Sometimes when going to the market, you see the herb is cheap so you buy a little too much. Sometimes a little grows in your home garden, and by the time you harvest it, there is more than one meal needs. After a few days in the refrigerator, the cilantro begins to soften, the leaves turn yellow, and then it wilts, which feels such a waste. If your home also has a bunch of cilantro like that, today do not rush to throw it away. Mary will make with you a very simple method, turning fresh cilantro into dried cilantro powder using an air fryer. This method does not need sunlight drying, and it does not need a separate dehydrator either. You only need to go a little slowly and follow a few small steps, and you will have a jar of fragrant cilantro powder to use gradually for many months. When cooking soup, marinating meat, making sauce, or lightly sprinkling it over a dish, just a little bit can make the kitchen smell much more fragrant. Before we begin, please prepare for Mary a bunch of fresh cilantro. The fresher the cilantro is, the more fragrant the powder will be, and the prettier the color will be too. If there are a few yellow leaves or bruised leaves in the bunch, we will remove them first. Which country are you watching this video from? Please leave me a comment and let me know. Now put the cilantro into a bowl of clean water. Cilantro often has many small spaces around the stems and leaves, so sometimes dirt clings very tightly. Please do not wash it carelessly. Gently separate the herb and soak it in water for a few minutes so the dirt and sand can soften. Then wash it again in small handfuls. If the cilantro was bought at the market and you want extra peace of mind, you can soak it in lightly salted water for about 5 minutes, then rinse it again with clean water. Do not soak it too long, because cilantro is soft, and if soaked too long the leaves will bruise easily and lose their natural fragrance. After washing, the most important step is to make the herb really dry. This is the point many people easily overlook. If the herb is still wet when put into the air fryer, it will be almost like it is being steamed before it dries. The drying time will be longer, the color will turn dull more easily, and the fragrance will also fade. So, gently shake off the water first, then spread the cilantro out on a clean towel or paper towel. I use one layer of towel underneath, then lightly place another layer of paper towel on top to absorb more water. When the herb is completely dry, we will begin picking the leaves to make the powder. With this method, Mary mainly uses the cilantro leaves, because the leaves dry faster, grind into a finer powder, and the fragrance is also lighter and more pleasant. If the tender stems are still soft and fragrant, you can keep a few of them, but the older or tougher stems should be set aside to use for broth, marinating meat, or adding to stews, because they will be very fragrant there. Pick the leaves gently, avoiding rubbing hard and bruising them. Then spread the cilantro leaves out on a clean towel or paper towel for a few more minutes to make sure the leaves are no longer damp. Now we prepare the air fryer. Before putting the herb in, you should line the tray with a piece of parchment paper with a few small holes, or use a mesh tray if your fryer already has one. Do not line it completely so the hot air cannot circulate. After that, spread the cilantro in a thin layer. Do not try to put too much in at once. If the bunch is large, it is best to divide it into 2 to 3 batches. Doing a little at a time means the herb dries more evenly, looks prettier, and smells much better. With the air fryer, we should use low heat. If your fryer can be set to 80 to 90 degrees Celsius, choose that level. For the first round, dry it for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, pull the tray out and use chopsticks to gently stir the herb once so the lower part comes to the top. At this point, you will see the herb beginning to soften and collapse, the green color becoming deeper, and the fragrance starting to spread very pleasantly. After that, continue drying for another 5 to 10 minutes. The exact time will depend on the amount of herb, how dry the herb was at the beginning, and the type of air fryer you are using. Because every fryer heats differently, the first time you make it, you should check it often. Do not let the herb turn dark brown. The cilantro is properly dried when the leaves are crisp, crumble when lightly crushed, and the small stems are also dry, with no soft or damp feeling left. There is one small tip Mary wants to remind you of here. When you first take the herb out of the fryer, do not grind it right away. Spread the herb out on a plate or a clean tray and let it cool completely for about 10 to 15 minutes. While it is still hot, there may still be a little moisture inside. If you put it into a jar or grind it right away, that moisture will make the powder clump quickly and lose its fragrance. When the herb has cooled, try crushing it lightly with your hand. If it is crisp, crumbles easily, and does not stick to your hand, then it is ready. Now comes the grinding step. You can use a spice grinder, a small blender, or even a mortar and pestle. Or you can also use your hands to crush it like I do if you do not need the powder to be too fine. Have you subscribed to my channel yet? If not, you can press the subscribe button to support me. If you like the powder to be very fine, you can sift it through a small sieve. Put the larger flakes that remain back in and grind them one more time. But if you like the powder a little coarse so that when sprinkled on food it looks more natural, then there is no need to sift it too carefully. Look at it, from a bunch of fresh cilantro that seemed almost ready to wilt, now we have a very fragrant cilantro powder. The color may not be as bright green as fresh cilantro, but as long as you use low heat and dry the herbs slowly, the powder will still keep a very pleasant fragrance. For storage, prepare a glass jar that is clean and completely dry. Remember that the jar must be completely dry. Put the cilantro powder into the jar and close the lid tightly. You should keep the jar in a dry, cool place, away from direct sunlight and away from a hot stove. Many people have a habit of keeping spices right next to the stove for convenience, but the heat and steam from cooking will make cilantro powder lose its fragrance more quickly. This cilantro powder can be used in many dishes. When cooking soup, broth, or stews, you can add a little near the end so the dish smells better. When marinating chicken, fish, or roasted vegetables, mix a little cilantro powder with salt, pepper, garlic powder, and oil, then marinate as usual. If you are making yogurt sauce, dipping sauce, or salad, just a small pinch is enough to create a light fragrance. On days when there is no fresh cilantro in the house, this small jar of powder is truly very convenient. Next time, if you buy too much cilantro, or if there is a cilantro patch in your garden growing quickly and you cannot eat it in time, do not let it wilt and then regret it. Where are you watching this video from? Where you live, is cilantro easy to buy, and do you usually use fresh cilantro or dried cilantro? Please write and let Mary know in the comments. If you find this method useful, do not forget to save the video and subscribe to Mary Home so that next time Mary can continue sharing more simple, economical, and easy kitchen tips to make at home. Thank you for staying with Mary until the end of the video. I wish you success in making a truly fragrant jar of cilantro powder for your kitchen.